Okay. I like her voice.
Me too. Did you want to record too, Richie?
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, welcome, my favorite people. So, Annie Bear, do you want to talk about what you said in the email?
The Ascension?
About, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
Let's
were
talk
in a
about
chat. I'm sorry. I was in the chat of one of your shows and you said you were responding to someone's question and you dropped little clues. You dropped a clue and you said, yeah, I remember having these Ascension symptoms about 9 years ago. And I
yeah.
was like, okay, hold the phone. I got to ponder that one. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, so I need to be clear-minded, of good heart and will, surrender. And I'm doing this too. I'm doing this. That was the clue that I needed.
Yeah.
so,
Good.
then that as the I was so happy that the what I did showed on Terry's channel yesterday, that Candy Mullen, that wonderful Reiki placement of the hands on top of the head and then the high heart and then below the belly button, and then I did the hollow bone, and that the finger movement came to me, and that's the first time that came. I mean, that's the first time where I was like, oh, I can feel my envelope, the egg shape that surrounds me. Okay, let's be curious. So I could move my hands up and down and I could feel, oh, okay, I'm also this light body. Yeah, I'm a light body. I can feel it. I'm
Yeah.
bird tribes. Yes, I can feel this. So as I did this, I'm like, I've kept more joy, more love. These are not faraway concepts. This is an awareness. Ascension is an awareness. So I'm like,
Mm.
okay. And then I surrendered again. I went to that. There was this kind of a weird thing where I was lying on my back. I could feel my shoulder bones and my heels. And I noticed that without me thinking, I began rocking in a way I normally don't rock, which would be up and down. So then I started breathing through my solar plexus. And I breathed through, I just like my body, I let my body do what it wanted to do because it was shaking.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm not afraid of this. We're just unlocking codes. I'm coming online. I'm waking up. Every time I surrender, I'm waking up a light code. Every time I walk in the sunshine, I'm waking up a light code. And it might be a me or a mother and both. I don't know. So I do that. And then I was breathing like female receives. Okay, breathing in, female, breathe out, male. Could be wrong, but this is what I tried. So I kept doing that. I kept doing that. So my feet and shoulders are rocking like this, and my solar plexus is rocking like this. When you do that, just be that, be. There's a balance that's achieved, and you can step out of third. You can step out of third. Your awareness just, and then I heard voice like, and it was kind of a solemn voice, like, will you accept who you are?
Oh.
And I said, yes, yes. So then it did show me pictures in my head of a situation. What choice will you make? I make that choice. And it's like they're narrating this experience or something, because they go, okay, that's this level. Like if you were to look at it like government, this is local, this is state, this is federal, this is international, this is planetary, this is galactic. Oh, hi, source. It just runs all the way through. So it was like, I'm like, I ascended. I just ascended. So I went into my favorite chat rooms going, I think I ascended today. And it kept feeling that way for like ever since. But there were a number of days that was like, oh, maybe it happens in a second, but for it to be really felt in third, it has to, all the molecules of light settle. And they settle. And because I am grounded and of earth, I kept going. So one of the questions that they asked after the galactic and the planetary, I can't remember where it was where it was exactly, but I gained the realization that I am Earth. And I had had that realization about 6 months ago, but it was too big of an idea. And I went, oh, that might be ego. Oh, I don't know about that. But when I went through this ascension, I'm like, yeah, I am Mother. I thought we're her consciousness. Okay, so what happened? Lemuria and Mu, because I didn't incarnate into Lemuria after it fell. So I think, okay, then that's always been like, what am I healing? What am I healing? What am I in charge of? What can I reach? What can I lift up? What can I save? What can be remembered? What can be woven back whole? And it has to be done from the inside out. This is how we heal the planet, from inside out. And so my point of view is like from Lemuria. And I got this wonderful, like, I hope it turns into a movie, a book, something someday, because what I saw was, because I thought, okay, so I'm just going to be here forever, cleaning up all these aspects. Just for a second, I was overwhelmed. Like, good grief. I don't know about all this ascension stuff. I thought it was going to be like a destination. It's not. It's more work.
It's not a vacation or a marriage destination, whatever. I can't speak.
Yeah. Like, you're more aware, you have more to do. I'm like, okay.
Oh gosh.
I mean, if you're doing it with joy, and then you start seeing beauty and you start seeing sparklies, and I was seeing flashes of light before in pivotal conversations about a week prior to this in LA. And before, I would be given an opportunity to either choose fear or love, just to keep it simple. And every time I chose love, I would see this flash of light before, and then I would choose love, and then the movement would pass. So that was happening. And I asked in chat rooms, hey, is anybody else seeing flashes of light? And nobody said anything so far. So I don't know. Because you don't want to come across as like a total nut. So, and I discovered this. I mean, I had the same feeling as you, that changed the world. Let's do it. Because where is that book? It's called No Bad Parts.
Yeah, I wrote that down. Yeah.
Oh, I came across this information, and feelings that I've had my entire life, he summed up, and I'm like, the premise being, because I was in counseling very well. It helped me enormously for over 17 years. I was an active participant. I still know and care and love my counselor, even though I don't go there anymore. But I write her and say, hey, this blew my mind, and I'm still doing my path, and thanks for helping me when you helped me, because she really did. She's awesome. But anyway, this model kind of turns the traditional counseling on its head. And this model says we are all multiples, and we all have parts. And some parts are created during trauma.
Yeah.
And so they're given a job to do. And they're still itty bitties. So, like, the reason, like, when I wrote that poem for Teresa, the grief, I was starting to over identify with it. And I was concerned about that reaction. I didn't want us as a community to because I thought that happens only when our own grief is stirred up, unprocessed grief. So I thought, okay, how can I serve the community? So I prayed to Great Spirit, and I started to over-identify in my sorrows, because I have lost 2 of my own children. And so I jumped in the shower, and I'm like, okay, clean body, mind, spirit. Come on, we can do this. I can do this. I want to give a gift to the community. It's needed right now. Well, I had to go in, was told right during the shower. I was brought back to a time in my infanthood where I was almost drowned. So I said, okay, oh, sweetheart, come home to my heart. I will hold you. I have you. I'm 62 years old now. I'm a grandmother. I'm a healer. I'm an elder. You don't have to do this anymore. What would happen if you didn't do this? The critic voice that tells me, if you were a better Indian, you would do all these blah, blah, blah. Why do you say that? Why does this happen? What are you hiding? Why? What would happen if you didn't? And that one said, you are all alone. You are all alone. I didn't want you to know you were all alone. So I said, okay, I am not alone anymore. So come home to my heart. What would you be doing if you hadn't been given the job of protecting me? In that instant, what would you be doing? And she said, sparkles, because she had been looking at the water.
Yeah.
Said, that's what you will do from now on. You will walk with me and we will see sparkles in the dew. And I just bawled. I just bawled.
Do you
So
think that,
like, we have to
do you think
heal.
those, are those your sparkles you were seeing?
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
could have been very well, because everything's so fluid. I mean, there's just this beautiful tapestry. So looking for the opportunities to heal. Sometimes when you want to be of service, this is how you do it from the inside out. So I don't know.
Inside.
It's been really amazing. There's been so much joy. I mean, I've been bawling my eyes out for the last month, but half of it's been for joy.
Good. I saw you writing some things down there, Richie. Were you
Oh
writing?
yeah,
Yeah.
just so today's a weird day because and it's so early too. It's strange. I write stuff down all the time, like when things just come
Yeah.
or when I hear stuff, I write it down. But there's a synchronicity going on here where I'm writing stuff down, and before I write the word, somebody's saying it. So like a couple of times I shook my head while Annie's telling her story.
I
And
saw
I'm
that.
like, I'm writing the word right now, and she just said it. It happened, I think, 2 or 3 times. And then, like, before we even got together, I was writing some stuff down and I was listening to a YouTube video. And as I'm writing it down, the person's saying, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
Wow.
Good synchronicity. Yeah. Like a pat
Wow.
on the back to Richie. In the flow.
That with the synchronicity too, yesterday on Fridays I do practice with some of my clients with the spiritual stuff. And it was very similar to what you were talking about, Annie, about calling those pieces of us, because the client was having was practicing on a friend, well, two friends, and one friend felt it deeply, and the other friend so wanted to feel it deeply, but didn't. And so that was the question that we were investigating during our time together yesterday, and it was, we just really tapped in, and what came up was either it was ancestral, generational, or past lives, but going back and talking to those pieces of us within us, and and they're like, make a garden, in front of your feet and just really feel the soil. It was like a perfect mixture of soil and dirt, and the dirt represented people that the dirt was packed down, so it's like a good place to gather or a good path to walk because others have been there before you. And then the other part was soil where things are going to grow, so go ahead and plant your seeds. And so all of the pieces and parts from her past life, we were calling them in, and some were so shy. They were like, I'm right here, but I don't know if I want to be seen yet, and they were just coming in like shy, like, are you really talking to me? Like, really? And so they became seeds. So they came in and they just were seeds, and she was talking. She well, she wasn't actually in the session. She was going to listen to it afterwards, but it was recommended that she talk to them and love them, and say, I'm here,
Yeah.
and we can grow together. Yeah.
Well,
Cool.
early in my counseling years, my counselor instructed me to, make pictures or boards like you do when you're in school of what childhood you would like to have given those parts
Yeah.
and what you would like them to have, but it was very therapeutic. But what I began to do is I began to have troubles in my life because the person making decisions about my romantic life at that time was not a good picker. So,
We need to go back to training.
Not so good. So I would end up going on these long drives by myself. And I remember one time, like, I'm in my late 20s and I look over the passenger seat and I'm listening to rock and roll and I'm kind of pissed at Ned, but no, I'm not totally devoted to it. And I realized I may have been eating nothing but animal cookies, the kind with the frosting and the little dots. And I'm like, okay, so this tells me about how old I am.
They're
So
so
those
good.
words, yeah, you can I invite ancestors and angels to look at my eyes. I've been doing that for a really long time. I'll
Yeah.
ask, like I used to love going to movies. And I would invite my angels to come sit with me,
Yeah.
yeah, hang out the windows of my car and step in body if they wanted to eat something that I was eating that was really delicious.
Yeah.
And because they often are our best friends and they've been in body before, but right now we happen to be the one in body.
Yeah.
So I think within your own team, it's okay to say, hey, you want to come look out my window?
Yeah.
But getting back to the being part of Earth, what I saw at the very end that I wanted to make into a story, a movie, something, was what I saw was, because I asked, so what's the deal here? If I am mother and I'm healing all these parts, do I just eventually just become a mountain? And I sat with that. I'm like, would I be okay with that? I am now a piece of granite on the side of a mountain. I'm gigantic. And boom, it was like kind of giggly inside. It was like Earth is like the spiritual Disneyland. It's the ultimate vacation spot. Because if you come to Earth and you can manage to like get the duality thing down, you can say, hey, yeah, me and my pals next week, we're going to go be whales. It's going to be awesome because on Earth you can blend. I'm gonna blend
Wow.
with dolphins. I'm gonna blend with birds. You can blend with trees on Earth as long as when you get that duality thing down. So the next flash of picture I had was like you and me and Richie, our best buds in the mountain, and we're just peeking out the granite. We just run over to it and we look at it and we go, "Oh, company's coming." And then we run inside the Earth and we go to another point. Or we get called. We get called, hey, I'm on a call. We need to go. We need help.
Yeah.
Something. And so we all rush over to Panama,
Yeah.
get crystal skulls from wherever they got hid. I mean, so then I kind of stopped because I thought I might be crazy.
You know what they showed me? They were like, so I was like I was a granite like cliffside or whatever, and it was like, oh, company's coming. I better make a rock fall and clean myself off. I gotta dust.
Yeah. Just being there, done.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
So it kind of it blew the roof off of it was where I wanted to go. I'm excited about it.
Panama comes up a lot in my language.
Mm.
Um, can we just sit with Panama for a second and just see what's going on with that?
I wrote a poem about it.
I feel like really big things are happening there. But I can't see a clear picture, and I'm like, is it a place that's cloaked? Because all of the stuff is happening, but I wonder if it's on uh a different plane or a different
Yeah.
timeline or something. Yeah,
I think there's a pocket because when I felt that in my body,
yeah,
I never thought of Panama on purpose in my life since I
yeah,
was in
same.
school and we had to take a test about that.
Hmm.
But what I saw in Ascension is the place I was feeling my solar plexus is this on Mother. There's always a corresponding place in Mother. for what we feel, and the one in mine is Panama.
Hmm.
Something about Panama, but I got it was a empty. There's like this, and there's an empty space in between, and what was needed is underneath.
Yeah. I saw it was like very busy, and I'm like, is that an underground thing? Like an underground base? I'm
Cave?
like, because I could feel like things were happening, but we can't see it
Yet. Oh, let's always just say yet.
yet.
Leave our little foot in the door.
How about you, Richie? You get anything?
Okay, so when you said to sit with Panama, right away I felt home. I felt like home, like it's the gathering, it's a focal point, it's like the hub, like your house, like the living room is like where everybody gathers, and then it's like the beginning. But then it also took me back to that there was a I think it was a journey that you did just recently where we went to a cave in Mexico or something. It's an underwater cave, and that's what I felt also. Can't remember. You were talking, it was all I remember was Fogo Pogo said, I see it too. And I said, I
Mm,
think because we understand the language. I don't remember what that was though.
I don't either.
It was recent though, and it was something about underwater caves, and then
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it had to do with the water, and I said the cave isn't, wow, this is crazy. So the cave isn't the destination, it's a doorway. And I just wrote that down for something that Annie Bear said.
the
Because
image
that's what I
is
said
the
in the
doorway.
in the in the meditation or in the journey. It's like, oh, okay, we're in this cave, but I can't get past the cave.
Yes, I
And I
remember
said the
that.
cave isn't the destination. Like that's not
Yes.
where whatever is being held, but it's the doorway to get to whatever's being held. And so that's what I got. That was the last thing I felt when you said Panama. But it was interesting because Annie Bear said, when she was like talking about the Ascension, that, oh, this isn't the final destination. I'm not here. And I wrote down, it's not the destination, it's a doorway. So like you just opened a doorway to another room. So like, like if you're in a house, there's all these doors, but you don't have access to get into this other room until you ascend, then you can open that door and now you have access. So Ascension's not a destination, it's
Right.
just a doorway.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I wrote a
And
So
poem
that's
Annie,
about
that's what
that.
I wrote down.
yeah, Annie,
Yes.
yesterday you were talking about the keys, something about the keys.
Yes, yes, these different ways of, we don't need to squabble about these different healing ways because each of them is like a key.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, to a door or a drawer or some information that it's like a layers of lace almost, you know, that they look this beautiful on their own, but when they're all seen together, that's a living tapestry. That's Earth, May I read you a poem I wrote about
Yeah.
Ascension? Okay,
Mhm.
here's the painting. I have not put this out there yet. Here's the painting, and normally you would see it. Normally, my painting would be looking at the beach or
Mhm.
looking at the waters,
Oh
at the
my
sea.
gosh.
But this painting goes like this. Okay, and here's why. Ascension, no up, no down, just through. Layered versions aligned of you. Linked within the pattern, Fibonacci did portend. If we were to scatter in matter, we'd find ourselves here again. Reintegration. All parts have need of home. As we transmute the last resonance, we glow through hollow bones. Creations in the details, as each element does show. Light has always had the gift of illuminating what we next need to know. Ascension's not a destination. Its process more clearly defined as living, sharing, walking your truth forward as you blend with the divine. That's it. Good, good.
Tutah loved that. They're like shaking my head though.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Oh, good, good, good. Oh, good.
Ooh. I can definitely see that as a book. And just how you said it, Annie, it has to be like a bigger size book for the artwork. And just as what you said, like what do you see the water here? But if and then the next page is, do you see this? You know,
Okay.
and on the third page, it's like, but they want us to look at it like this. You
I
know?
need your brain for the I need your brain. Can I borrow your brain to
Yeah.
because I never thought of children's stories until you said
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like too bad I can't plug my brain into the computer so you could receive it. But we have Richie. Maybe Richie can be the in-between.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. Yama, yama, kyo, 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 kyo. Atyo no, nyano, yanu. I was just asking, like, while this was all happening, like, well, is it that, like certain, you know, maybe certain of our family or whatnot, we're reincarnated right now, we're living this life. I'm like, what if we all went to that cave or that room or where the door is, you know, or where the mud puddle portal is? And I'm like, does it help when we all like show up together as if we were each a part of a key? And it's as if the more we do this, the more that we all do this, it's like we're calling people from afar. We're calling people from afar. It might take them a little time to get here. There's like a great traveling that needs to happen. And they might get like skinned up, you know, or blisters on their feet, weathered. They need to be weathered a little bit before they get here on their travels. Like weary travelers have the best stories and the best wisdom. It's the difference between flying somewhere and it's just like the stories from flying, like, oh, there was turbulence, you know, but the one that walked the great distance will have so many more tales to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And they're like, just lay down the you know, like I need to figure it out. It's like you don't need, they're already coming, and there's really nothing, there's no agenda. It's just like the cog. Is it the cog in the sprocket or whatever? It's like the piece is already moving. But it's slow. And they showed me like a big sprocket or cog, whatever it is that has like the tines in it or whatnot, like the bicycle for the chain. It's like this big old ancient metal one. And it's just like like in the beginning of time, it might have needed a little bit of assistance to start its like slow, purposeful movement, but it's like now it moves by itself. And it's as if I was like, well, is there a caretaker, you know, like there with some oil or anything? And they're like, not necessarily caretakers, more like witnesses, just to see the beauty of it, to like really like um be in the like the presence of that is like a great honor to like pop in there occasionally and just be like, yeah, this is how it goes. Just like a little reminder. And you know what, Richie, when you were talking about the Panama door or whatnot, and you said home, or Annie said, somebody said home. No, you did,
Yeah.
Richie.
It was the
Because
first thing I felt. Yeah.
yeah, because when I asked you, you know, what you were thinking, they said Hawaii. Like I felt it was connected to Hawaii, which is home for you, right?
Yeah. So that's what's interesting is because I was trying to understand the connection because like all of this, like when I put everything together, it's talking about Panama. Like when I sit with Panama, like everything's the starting point, right? Or like home, the hub, the central point, it's the focus. But I know Hawaii is supposed to be the heart chakra of the earth, right?
Mhm.
So to
Yeah.
me, that's the home. But you said to sit with Panama. So I'm like, why am I getting the same feeling with
Mm.
Panama?
Yeah.
Right? So is it like
Must be
for
meridians.
for one time Panama was what Hawaii was or is? You know,
Yeah.
so like if today Hawaii is the heart chakra of the earth, was Panama that one at one time?
Very good thinking. Good thinking.
I don't know. But I also got like the meridian thing you were saying, Annie. It was like when I was asking you and it said Hawaii, and then they showed me kind of like a vein, you know, like a vein from Hawaii up to Panama. And I'm not sure if that's because of, you know, what you were about to say. But it was connected somehow.
I have a question about when Atlantis fell and Lemuria fell, and if we stand outside of judgment of that and see it as the event, is it possible that encapsulated in that place we can't get to
Oh, yeah, you got a
is,
big yes. You got
is
a
the
big
energy?
yes.
That's the energy. So that is kept there for our safety. So it
Ooh.
can be released once we've achieved what we need to do. But we've already entrusted that to energies to do that for us. It's like not letting children run with scissors. You know?
Totally.
Yeah. Because when I first remembered Atlanteans, I'm like, man, do I have a bone to pick with you?
That's funny.
So what do you think, Richie? Does that ring true?
Sure. Yeah. So I just remembered I asked Sterling one time about Hawaii, and it because it just seems odd to me that Hawaii exists to this day. It's sitting out in the middle of the ocean, in the middle of nowhere, and it should have like been destroyed by a hurricane or blown up by something or whatever, but it seems protected. Like up until last year when the the wildfires in Lahaina and everything like that, it seems like even if there's a hurricane there, nothing happens. Or a volcano erupts, everything's okay. So it seems like there's an energy like protecting someone or something is protecting Hawaii. And so I asked Sterling and he said, yes, there is an energy that is protecting Hawaii. I don't know for what reason. Um, but then that's when I also heard that Hawaii is the heart chakra of the earth.
Okay. That feels true. That the being there's someone there. The first time I went to Hawaii was the first time I remembered another life because I was all of a sudden a priestess with other priestesses under the waters. And I was wide awake and watching the turtles. And I was like, oh, and I had been in love with and lived with a Hawaiian man, so I knew of and he was Hawaiian, Kona. So I knew of the medicine. I'd heard about it, but I'd never felt it until I got there. It was amazing. So I didn't, last I heard that the heart of the world is in South America, but that was years ago. It had been in native news, it had moved from the plains to Chile, but that was in like 2012. So if it has moved from since 2012 from Chile to Hawaii, so be it. That meridian, it's kind of like maroon and sparkly. It's instant, and you don't see it until you need it. It's just sort of like it shows up. That like JJ was describing it as like a vein. I think it only shows up when you need it. I wonder if that's why Hawaii has so many shells, because I see it surrounded by shell, like the inside of a white shell. It must be goddess energy anchored there. Must be goddess energy. And they do have Pele, for crying out loud. Who in the world would mess with Pele?
Yep, Madame Pele.
Yeah,
The
I
fire
don't
god.
take a rock or nothing. No way. I don't usually even talk of her because I don't want to piss her off. Real respect and a
Yeah,
little bit of fear.
they were showing me when you guys are talking about the different chakras, they showed me Earth round, like I talked about this before with you, Annie, about the mud people and how they formed. And so it's like they molded Earth. It still had like the globe look to it, but they molded Earth into like the Doni, the female, into it was like a female outline, like very curvy. And she's like, I'm just so happy that you're talking about like my energy points.
Oh,
Yeah.
Usha, Usha, Usha. Yes,
She's like Earth isn't round, it isn't flat, it's yeah, like ever tama ko amakiano to the mako namako ishtitai yana tiano ko yana to titama pakushtitai yewanaka yewanaka kia papa kiawa anuima kia pama ishtitai. Oh, and she's showing me you know as the female outline, and I was like, okay, well, what about the the masculine? And they were like, that's the pieces from the universe that fall into me, that lean into me, like the comet, or like the
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like the Moldavite, it's just like those are the pieces that come in, and it's just like
It's
it's
one of my
just
favorite stones of all time is Moldavite. I love it.
yeah,
I have some on my person.
yeah. Um
It was beautiful.
and she's just like, and just like any relationship, some of that is a pain in the ass.
Yes.
Like I wasn't ready for that.
Yes.
Big crater. It's like, yeah, okay.
Jeez.
But then sometimes I do feel like she was ready to like co-create with Hawaii. It's almost like Hawaii is my baby. Almost like the first love, where you give birth to something and you didn't even know, like you thought you knew what love was, but you didn't.
Yes. And what
Yeah.
would she like us to call her? In this face.
And I think this is where the ancient ones come in that I wanted to talk about. The ancient ones, they know the name.
I will drum while you ask.
Okay, if the ancients can lend me their ears with gratitude and respect, us kukanoka, kukanoka, kukayewa, tanotinama kushtita, if it's possible for the permission, kyo 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 kyanoku kamakuyewa. Yanui, Yanui. It's as if they have their eyes sleeping and we're just like, hello. Yanu, 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 Atita, Mawa, Kiatita, like we're the little children. Like, get up, Patita, Patita. Oh, Yama, Okai, Yama, we, Kiamashtita, Yewa. Yanui Tanakushita, it's like waking up the crescent moon. Kiapaututo Pakita Makokai Payena Tawa Shewa. And it's all grumbly like the Tito Kushtitano Kiapa Makushtita, the rock beings. Yatiata Pao Kianutita, shine your knowledge, Tuta Makuka. Yatita, Yatita, Yatita. Yamao Kiawa, seeing this great rock being stand up. Banu Tita, Banu Tita, can you hear me? Papaguyawa, way up there. Ye Tita, where the birds land, where the birds make their nests. Yatito, Mama Kuyawa. Maitao, Maitao Kai. Like singing at their feet, giving the songs. Matui, Matui. Matui, tita, tita, going up to the knees, the thighs. Ya tita, maku ashewa. The pelvic floor. Maku ya tita, maku ye tita. Makya, tita, maku ashtitama, pakuewa. Holding our hands where there would be a belly button on the rock being. Kyato tamakushtita, share some knowledge. Titamaku yawa. Yatita. Paco nata with respect. Yatita ma pauyawa yewa mau papaye tita. Papaye tita makakaye papa ma shewa. Aye tita nui tata nui tata nui tata. Ye pa ma papa ko yawa. It's like, what do we call the mother? Ku anta aishe ye wa. Ye tita makuka 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 kakayewa natamao shewa nui. Mama maye papa kyotu no kushtita ye tita, and he's so high up Pakunatanoshita, he talks to the bird. Mawa shewa, mawa ye shewa, and the bird comes to us. Paku amako kayewa, ye tita, eyamakuya watu tita. The bird speaks your language, Annie. Paona, papakuna mama, ye tita, atutama mamanku. Kuku kayewa, kuku kayewa. Wahwa shemawa, yeba, maui, yatita, mama, uka, maui, kaishe, anui, ye oki, ai, tau, kau, ye na 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 na.
Hanukkah.
Katutita, papaka, yewa. When you speak the name, Papaku Ya'anta, the other little rock beings are here. They're like sitting up to hear you. Papa Mawa.
Hanukkah. Hanukkah. Hello, Hanukkah. Little children. Feel love. Heartworm. Heart hurt. Heartworm. Heart hurt. I see energy of water and gather. All of these tones are kept safe here. What would you do if you didn't have to guard these? Beloveds, why do you guard these? To keep them hidden. How old do you think they are? They're 4 million years old. You don't have to do this anymore. What would you be doing if you weren't doing this? And what would you be doing otherwise? Continue to grow. You would morph. You might roll into the sea. You might have adventures. Wonderful adventures. Kaya. I release you. You don't have to hold this anymore. Come home to my heart. Come home to my heart. Anukai. And it is so. Don't know what that was. That was beautiful.
I can hear they're like, play us a song as we walk. Ka-tio, paku, ka-tia. Safe journey. Ya, you ya, yeah, mouse, yewa.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Colors. What colors do we see?
Woo.
Whew. So this is what we need to do all over the earth?
They're talking to you, Annie.
Okay.
And you, Richie, Yano kapaku papa ye mau katita, mau katita, paku nama kushtita. It's like her blood runs through you and you. Mau kya maku ka paku nagya. It's not as if it's as if you're a part of her and not the child. Anu tita, although children can be a part of her. Yato tita, ato tita, tiatio no, yo no, yaku kumotio, tio nomoku na, yewa, maushtita. She's gifting you to. Kuka, yanu, oshewa, moye tita. Matiamo stita sheshe makia mtita yatiama mama ye tiawa yatui. They're like, keep digging, kawa shewa, see what's in the earth, ama ua yewa mawa kiawa. Yano tita, ye tita, makoyawa she, mawa she. She loves you too. Kanapa, ye tita. Yamui. No, kanagaga. Yanada. Yanoka. Manu yango na muya nanga muya no misandano ko na makashemani na maksawa. Mao kanada na kota na kaka kakayo na na. Oya na ya ka ya mama kya ti na mama shema pao kana kaka kiwaka. Nyano katata na kaka kiwa. Ooh.
Whew.
Yeah, there's a new language coming. There's a new language coming. It's not of me or you too. It's for somebody else.
Yay.
Yeah. With that opening up and getting that sound out. Piano. What was like kind of like lying dormant, kind of like, the volcanoes or whatnot, whatever was lying dormant, it's coming.
The softer, gentler voices.
It's like waking up the giants, waking them up.
Woo.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
My friend was one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense because when you were talking, I wrote down like waking the giants, but they wanted me to say walking the giants, like walking the giants instead of waking them, walking them, which is what I feel like. Did you do that when you said, what would you like to do? And then you released them?
I've done that in the past. In the past, where I thought if I move my arm, I will move across the country. And it
Yeah.
kind of freaked me out. And my friend was the only person I knew who felt that way, who knew what I meant.
Yeah.
So sometime if I want to say pray for the Pacific Northwest, I call on that, and I am the Pacific Northwest, and I call for her safety and the safety of her wild ones.
Yeah. Because you're the blood. You two are the blood. Mm. Yeah. Cool.
How amazing is this?
Did you get anything, Richie?
I got a lot actually.
Good, share it.
Is your head like
Well, no, actually it's not, which is kind of
Okay.
interesting because it's just like just information funneling through, right?
Yeah.
So Annie, like I think this part started when and you asked the question of what's the name, right?
Mm.
And so as soon as you asked the question, I heard you know the answer. You just have to surrender like you did with the fingers. So I think you spoke earlier about um Ascension, and then you surrendered, and then all of a sudden your fingers started moving, right? And it's not about giving up, surrendering, but it's about being in a place where you can just be and everything else can be also. So if you can get to that place where everything can be, you'll have the answers that you look for, like the name. But the name that you get is the name that you gave it because that's your relationship with the earth or with the place that you're seeking the name of. So it could be called Gaia, but you could call it Gooseberry because that's the nickname that you gave it because
Yeah.
that's the relationship that you have with it. So like the name isn't of importance. It's the relationship you have to it.
Oh, yeah,
That's
understood.
the message that I got when you said the name. So then I also got afterwards is um you need to have balance though. You have such a strong connection with the earth, and it's almost like you feel the connection, but you're going backwards. So like you're caught in between, right? Like what was and what is, and that's where you need to find the balance because you pull more to what was in the past, like previous life, the energy, the connection, and everything like that. And so that's why what I heard was you need to find the balance with what was and what is. So like previous and today.
Okay.
And then the last thing I heard was when JJ, you said that Tutah is speaking to the both of us was
Yeah.
she's speaking to the mother and the child. So the mother being Annie Bear because she always holds the energy of Mother Earth. And I always see myself as the child. So it's like Tutah was speaking to the mother and the child of Earth.
Oh,
So it's
I'm
not to say
feeling
that you're Mother Earth, but you hold the energy, Annie Bear, of mothering of the earth, that energy. And
right.
I always hold the child.
Okay. So there's wonder and grace and
Well, no,
beautiful.
so that's what like Tutah was speaking to the JJ said that Tutah is speaking to the both of you. And so right away I got Tutah speaking to mother and child. So mother, you, child, me. And then she delivered her message. But I also did have a question, JJ, because before we got into that question of Annie Bear's asking about the name, you're talking about the chakras and masculine versus feminine, right? So
yeah.
we were talking about Hawaii being the heart chakra of the earth. And so right away it hit me that is there like I don't know if duality is the right word, but does the earth have a masculine and feminine energy? So if Hawaii is like the heart chakra of the feminine, then is Panama the heart chakra of the masculine? So as soon as I wrote it down, I heard not quite, but you're close. Like you're in the right direction.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. Yeah, they were being they were being kind of crude. They were like, well, of course there's the penis or the like what's the other, the phallus, is that what it is?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. Um yeah, but like they weren't sharing anymore. Like I don't know. How I perceived it was it had it, like the rock giants, I was calling them male. And then when they presented the penis, that was rock as well. But they're not gonna tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get an answer. I just got you're in the direction.
Yes. Yes.
When asked, she said they fall into me. When asked, she said they fall into me.
Which would
Like
be rocks.
meteorites. Like
Yeah.
meteorites falling into her soil.
Cool.
So I've always worked from the premise, and it could be my own point of view, but I have always staunchly said I am a female on a female planet, in a female solar system, in a female universe.
Wow.
Things move in spirals here.
I just asked hermaphrodite and I got a yes. Like,
Well, that would be cool.
I kind of feel like, like with the,
Oh, so these are expressions as she breathes in and out, as her energy goes in and out. So she goes through phases like we go through moon time. She must go through a similar stage. She must go
wow,
through a similar thing in the 28-day cycle. She must be going, that must be when she is more male and female, which would align with the moon. Like I dream best when the moon is just a tiniest sliver in the sky. What do you, yeah? What do
I
you,
don't know. I'm getting cold.
okay, you're getting cold, you were hot.
I'm so cold.
Oh, you traveling. What do you think, Richie?
Well, all I, all I got was so the Earth is ovulating.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Wow.
Well, this is,
It does feel like PMS occasionally.
and when I didn't want to sound disrespectful or ruin the moment but when I thought of penis, I thought, oh, Florida, can't we just cut that off? Terrible that I would even think that. I'm
Oh,
so
but
sorry.
it's sinking, right? So it's gonna go away.
It's having erectile dysfunction.
It's shrinking
Oh my
due,
God.
due to
Look at this.
global warming.
I think you were right the first time, the global rising. Oh my gosh. So much fun, guys. So much fun.
This is interesting. I got a lot out of this one.
I'm
Yeah,
so glad we did this.
I'm so like feeling that giggly energy from all that we connected to. Like they're just like, oh, our children are playing.
Oh, thank you. This is so wonderful.
Yeah, it's like how kids play house. Like you're the mom, you're the kid.
Yeah, I'm gonna act out.
Um, one thing I was saving to say is first, Richie, when you were describing like how Annie and Annie, through all of this conversation, you've been talking about duality, and then Richie says it about like looking in the past, but then he was like, yeah, look at the the now, and they were like, yeah, they're like the currents of the ocean are like that, or electrical currents can be like that, like it's like it does, like currents do remember like where they're like pulling from, you know what I mean? It's like the water remembers. And so it's like remembering the things that it's already been through, but excited for the journey going forward as well. So they said current, but I love like current has that electrical feel to it as well. But they were showing it to me as like the ocean, like how in like that kid movie, the turtles were riding the current.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The great
But
current. I had a question about that, or when he said that, I thought of something to share. Very briefly, I
mhm.
was on a walk a couple of months ago, and it was early in the morning, and I just stood looking at the light and the clouds and the mist and the trees, and a tear goes down my left eye, and I feel a hand on my shoulder, and this was an ancestor looking through my eye, and they have not been in body for hundreds of years. And so I have ancestors walk through, but I invite them to just come through. I mean, I don't know how I invite them, but they're allowed to come and look out my eyes, because they can. Everybody who comes through has to give a little, like, help me feel a little bit better,
Mm.
take a little bit of owie away, and that's the exchange. So I want to be balanced. I'm a Libra. I'm driven to be balanced and constantly missing the point. I mean, missing it, but I always am working on it. So I want to. So as those pass through, then they are released and they go into spirit. So I'm not walking around with a jumble of spirits in me. They just walk through as they pass through.
Richie, wasn't one of your things where you open it up and you know, like how
Yeah, all the
all the
watches.
watches and stuff,
Yeah.
like Candy Bear's like, which past life? Which past life?
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh my gosh. Andy, I don't know if this means anything to you, but they were saying the story of the deer skin. It's as if like there's no time to it, because I'm like, was this depicted on the deer skin? There's something about the story of the deer skin.
Was it gifted to bear? Because I did gifted deer skin to bear.
Ooh, okay, yeah, yep.
That was when I was at the animal hospital. And there was a
Okay.
particular bear that I was there when that baby came in and cried and cried. And I was also there when that baby grew up and left.
Okay. Yeah. Papa mako mako ya nta mako iba piatano tietano koshtita. Maybe in the future, Paco nako tiano yatia o shena. They're like, you know, like the way they're talking is hilarious. Like, you know, Annie, like in the, you know, further down, they're like, maybe you could write a story about the deer skin. They're just putting that in your
Okay.
space.
I had treated it very carefully for a number of years, and no bear ripped it to bits and had a ball. Just
Yeah.
destroyed it. And I kind of love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mother Earth, before you asked you asked the name, and so they shared, I am the ladder to climb and descend. I am the ocean that ebbs and flows. I am the turtle. I am home to dragons, meaning fire. And then there was something about trees I couldn't catch on my own. And it's like almost like they showed me like trees come and go like cycles. I couldn't quite pick the tree. They wanted to say something about the tree, but I couldn't pick it up. But that's the end of what I got.
Thank you. Thank you.
But did you come up? I heard you say a word and they said yes. Did you come?
Anukai.
Did you? What is it?
Anukai.
Oh,
Anukai.
wow.
I have heard people talking in chat, and I'm like, why do they keep saying this wrong? They keep saying Anunnaki, Anunnaki. I'm like, that's not right. It's Anukai. It's Anukai. And I've
Oh my
asked
God, that's hilarious because in my language it's Anunaki. Because I was like, are you trying to say Anunnaki? And it's like Anunnaki.
Well, it could be I'm just really stubborn and saying it wrong. That has me all over it.
Yeah. That's funny. Or it's a version of, I feel like the Anunnaki, they're just like, it's not like all one thing is bad. It's just like there, there is with everything a bit of disharmony, and some things are like pakunatu yato, not necessarily disharmony, but different pitches. Atoma papako atita mako ishtita mama kya yano pakunata ushtitayewa yano titamako ishtita, like they're bringing in the current again, like paonato, like stories carried sometimes can get watered down, diluted.
True.
Yeah, diluted.
I have a memory that comes up. I want to tell you because it might be helpful to us. That Anukai or an Anunnaki, the Anunnaki, when I see them, I am reminded of two things. One, I had a vision where I was in the Southwest and I opened the earth. I could change time by running my hand across the red rock. And I opened it and I was helping people with green calcite, a bigger piece, flatter piece in my hand, to go into ships underground. And I was the person that let them go through. And I would just comfort them because they were often in shock. So I would bring them into the earth. And so I was just a gentle person who, I don't know, showed the way, opened the door for them so they could come in and they would be all right. And the other thing, I think I call them Anunnaki. I might be confused because there was a tribe that lived in the hills and lived in the earth in the Southwest. I don't know where exactly, but they lived there. I've seen pictures of it. I've seen it on TV, but I have not been there to exactly there. So maybe I'm confusing a peoples with something. I don't know. Does that help or does that okay?
No, I also leave room for for the explanation because I don't know. Yeah, I definitely leave lots of space around that because I don't know the whole story.
Okay.
Or if this is a different part of Anunnaki. I just know that they correct me when I say it. It's like Anunnaki. Yeah.
Anunnaki.
Well, gosh, this has been really fun.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so to be continued next time.
Yay!
Yay!
So I had a question though.
Yeah.
Because this all is about, it started with Ascension, right? And so Annie was explaining like what happened to her. And then she also said that this happened to you 9 years ago, right? And so I got like, oh, okay, so we all ascend at different times. Like when we reach a certain point where the opportunity and our growth meet, like intersect, right? Where the 2 points come together, that's when we can ascend. But then I also heard like we've already ascended. So the ascension that we're really talking about is the physical ascension, like in this lifetime right now, not spiritually, because we've already ascended spiritually. Like
Mind
what we're
blown.
really doing is just ascending for the physical, like right now in this body. Is that correct or is that wrong? Because that's the feeling I got when Annie Bear was talking. I heard like,
That makes
but we've
sense though.
already ascended. Like this is
Well, we're
just
ascending with Earth.
for
So this time
now.
we do it with Mother, like that. Do you think, Richie?
Let's say that again, Annie.
Because we're doing it with, in the third, we'd be doing it, we're ascending with Mother.
See, I don't know. I don't understand really the whole ascension like
Okay.
topic.
Uh-huh.
But when I hear it, it just seems like, you know, people leveling up. Like you mentioned, I leveled up, right? And what I heard was like spiritually, like if we were to remove ourselves from the body, we're ascended. We're of a higher level. But
Right,
in
right.
this body right now today, there's a veil, right? We can't see everything. And so
Oh, you
what we're
could.
doing is we're leveling up in the physical, which allows us access to more information or the doorway, right? Because you said, "Oh, I ascended," but like where am I? I thought it was a destination, but it's not. And that's when I felt like, oh, it's not a destination, it's a doorway. So you've opened the ability to see more or experience more or to bring in more, right? But like if we're like in higher spirit, like our higher self, they're already ascended, like they're of that realm, but us in the physical, we're not. So that's what I was trying to understand because that's what I felt when Annie Bro was talking about the ascension process and that the both of you have gone through it. Um,
I don't think
it
I've
was
gone all the way
it
through
was
it.
just for today, like for this life, but the real essence of us is already ascended.
Yeah, what they were saying when you're talking, um, they said that stars, I was gonna say stars when they fall, they were just like stars do not travel all at once. Um, However, and they were going along with what you were saying. It's like the stars, the stars don't travel like all at once. Like one will be coming through. And this reminds me of like like the new children coming through, the rainbow kids or whatever they're
Mhm.
called. Um, so the stars come through almost like a comet. Um, oka 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 nka ta ka 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 na ya no ya tita no shtita. And it's so neat because just like the current with Annie, it's like the story of where it originated or the story of it traveling is still within that vein of traveling. So it's like it's got the story, like the DNA, the information. And so other stars, when they travel, they'll come through, and either they'll like weave around that to say hi to that, the traveling space with the information. It's like almost kind of playful, like, oh, I know that vibration. Let me circle that for a little bit and continue on. So it's kind of connected in that way. I feel like it's not appropriate when the star comes down. It doesn't go like through that energy though. It like kind of um, gently goes around it. They don't even kiss. It's just like they just are like, oh hey, hey, that's my buddy over there. And but they also said that the stories of the DNA, the stories of the hollow bone, the stories are in that current of the star that traveled. um Kind of like the comet, and you picture like what the comet looks like as it's going through, and it's like burning away and burning away and burning away. Apakuna, and it's like the destination is like, what is the destination? It's like it is like a cycle where I see like the comet coming through and like like making its way through that veil or whatnot. And again, they're bringing in like the masculine going like through um like the sperm. Pakotamanko, like the story, like the genetics of what the sperm would have, right? And then it is like enveloped by mother. Seeds were all the seeds. Like the seed of like the some people will call it the collision. How they're bringing in like baseball references, like the catcher's glove, the mitt. When someone's playing baseball, softball, it's like they're just so happy to make that connection. They're like, that's like the joy. Like somebody over there is like, oh, they caught the ball. But somebody over there, it's just like, oh yeah, like mother caught like it's in a celebration kind of way. But there is a bit of a disturbance when like the male seed. Pakuna Tutah no Tutah. They're like, imagine like in the female, how that happens. It's like there's the egg, and then the like the sperm comes in and has to like get through the barrier. They're talking about this in an ascension kind of way. But like what Annie was saying, the story keeps going. You think you get there, and it's just like, oh no, shit! Now I have growing pains.
Yeah, not the more story. I just started a poem this before we got on.
Yeah.
All the layers of this story are best experienced through DNA.
Yeah, but they said too this, yeah, there's more to follow. There's more to follow. Like Richie, let's say if you were the star, and you heard the call to journey. Yeah, no tita, makosh tita, it's like you may not know the whole story, but it's like the genetics, yata tana, the information, kyoto no no shita is in that like that trail. And it's like it's strong. It doesn't change with like a storm or anything. It's like there's no way for that to be disturbed. Yatita makata naka ushtatayewa, and then there's like the contact yapa ma pa pa pakwa yatita makushtita. And again, what Annie said, it's just like you're so happy, woohoo, I'm breaking through. And then it's just like, great. Now it's this, now I have to grow, I have to sprout, but I'd rather be the big tree. But there's more stories to follow. Like they're following us. The stories are following us. They like to think of it like that instead of the veil. It's just the stories haven't caught up to us yet.
Okay.
And that's like a more gentle, easy way to describe of like, why don't we know everything? It's like, well, we do. It's over there. And it's falling, it's traveling. They're like, I love it when they talk like that. So they're like, well, of course you're connected to like creator, and we are of creator. It's just like, but we might make a crater when we fall under. Oh, they are having so much fun with us today. Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm happy.
Yeah, that's how they're explaining it.
Okay.
I think this is a living story, which hasn't really been done before. I mean, there's so many storytellers here of all kinds. I was thinking that this morning.
Yeah, the storytellers.
Storytellers.
Exactly.
Because I've been watching TV like it's one person and all these people in it are aspects of a personality.
Oh,
I've been doing that for about a year, and it's just like stretching your mind a little bit. And I'm like, oh, there's something here. I don't know what it is, but I'm fascinated. But thank you for this time today.
They are circling around, Annie, to the what you were learning with the book about the pieces of me, the different aspects of me, because that's they're referencing what they were just sharing is that like the story, like whatever storm comes through, it's like the DNA, the information is like solid. It's I forget where I was going with that, but
Okay.
hopefully you picked it up.
Well, we've been doing this for about an hour and a half. I imagine you're tired
Oh,
and cold.
and hungry. Okay, we could do this probably all day. Let's.
I know. Love it, love it, love it.
Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you.
save my question because this could spawn into my question could spawn into another show.
Yeah, totally. Okay. I love this. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Mwah.
Okay. I'll see you another time.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.